Masarap pa talagang i-drive ang EV compared to traditional vehicle.
Yes sir, I would say masarap. Una, automatic. Hindi nga cambio, rotator lang siya.
Rotator.
Drive, reverse, neutral, park. Walang vibration, walang init sa upuan. Tapos hindi ka pagod kasi walang clutch. Meron tayo nakitang mga charging stations sa loob ng malls, right? That for consumer like us. Kung bumili tayo ng sasakyan natin, we can charge, right? But for us, logistic company, none. So we built our own charging hub.
Wow.
So we have a 3,000 square meter charging hub somewhere in Macapagal Avenue. I told them, okay, we have a situation now here. This is the flood, right? I want to test your EV. Pag yan tumirik or nasira, di ba? Under warranty. You change everything. Because you warranty mi na pwede, di ba? Everybody agreed. Nilusong namin, sir, sa baha. Nawala yung baterya. Umababaw yung tubig. Dire-diretso, hindi tumigil. Tuloy. Anong gagawin sa baterya after matapos na yung buhay ng baterya sa'yo? Tama? So those are the things, sir, that probably now naisip natin, we're green because we're not using diesel, di ba? But ang question that at the end of the life of that battery, how do we dispose the battery?
Is it the future of the logistics industry, EV?
If we are in China, EV is present, not the future. Dami na normal na sa kanila, di ba? Lumilipat na lang dito sa atin, right? So, I would say yes, sir. Probably, let's say future, probably in the next 5 years, everybody should adapt to EV na.
Today, we are glad to have with us one of the more successful startup or innovative company founders. Welcome to MS Bizchat, Mr. Dennis Nang of Mober.
Thank you, Sir Rod. Thank you for having me today.
Mober is one of the innovative companies in the Philippines in the sense that it provides sustainable means of logistics or transportation. We would like Mr. Dennis Nang to explain to us what Mober is.
We started Mober 2016. No? I would say it was the first on-demand delivery app. We were a platform, parang Uber for delivery trucks before, no? So that was 2016. But 2021, we pivoted from asset light, because when we say asset light, pag platform ka, wala tayong asset. It's a third party. They sign up lang as a delivery driver, then we send them bookings, right? But 2021, we decided to transition and to become a green logistic, I would say startup, because that's 2021. It's
21,
a new, we pivoted, no? It was driven by IKEA Philippines. So pagbukas ng IKEA noon, isa tayo sa pinalad na maging partner nila. So they requested kung gusto mo mag-EV. And that time, 2021, wala kang mahanap na EV van dito eh.
EV.
Diba? So tama ka, sabi mo kanina, marami mga jeepney yung sa Makati, diba? Well, in fact, yun ang una kong mindset. I buy that and convert it to a delivery van para ma-serve ko lang sa IKEA. But fortunately, we're able to get 2 delivery vans. So that was November 2021. So, ayun. Yun ang simple and humble beginning namin sa transition to electric green logistics.
You mentioned IKEA. IKEA is a furniture maker or retailer from Sweden. And it's maybe one of their visions is to promote sustainability, to reduce their carbon footprint. So they prefer electric vehicles, right?
Well, they're very strict with their mandate. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 2025 is their cutoff to make sure that IKEA worldwide, they're using electric trucks for their last mile delivery. Then 2030, there's net zero na.
Net zero.
Sa buong ecosystem. No? But anyway, again, hindi lang naman ho si IKEA. May mga ibang kumpanya na rin na talagang mandato ng headquarters nila na mag net zero, no? Pero ang pinaka grabe kasing contribution sa GHG, sa greenhouse, is yung supply chain.
Supply chain.
Supply chain, I think, consists of 90% of the greenhouse, no? So, last mile delivery, mid-mile delivery is part of that supply chain.
So, You're referring to road transportation.
Yes, yeah, that's part, no. One of the lang, no,
One of
na supply chain, no. And I believe that's also one of the easiest na pwede natin ma-convert na maging green yung delivery. Yeah.
So instead of using diesel or gasoline for transportation, electric. Yeah. Is that one of the factors that makes Mober different from other logistics companies? Or?
Well, I would say yes. No? As of the moment, yes. Even in our office, when we talk, right, when we discuss with my team, are we smarter than other logistic companies, right? I would say we're not. We're just one of the lang. Bago lang kami. And some of the logistic companies sa Philippines, kung ano baga haligi na ng industriya, no? Kaya lang sa Mober, kami lang yung naglakas ng loob na, okay, let's jump into it and be the crazy guy, transition to EV. And EV is still very expensive. The EV trucks, EV van, no? Doble pa siya sa presyo ng mga diesel, no? Yung mga brand new diesel, mga 1 million lang. Yung mga truck natin 2.2, 2.5 million. So malaki ang difference, no?
So those are among the challenges from transitioning from ICE to EV? Or?
Okay, well, one, as I mentioned earlier, kung hindi kami ni-require ni IKEA, baka hindi din kami magta-transition. No? But since ni-require kami, nandun na kami, why not make it bigger na? Palaki na lang natin. No? So, going back to your question, kung anong difference namin, no? The difference, like, we think outside of the box. We see opportunities ahead of us, no? So kaya ngayon when we start with 2, so now we have 150 units.
150. Oh.
And after 2 months there's another 100 coming. Right. So marami.
That's because you have another client.
Yes.
Mind, huh?
Yes. We have Nestle with us now.
Wow.
We have Starbucks. We have Nespresso. And for local, we have Mondenizen, the manufacturer of Lucky Me. And
so
of
even local companies are jumping to the bandwagon.
Yes. And SM Appliance Center, of course. Right? So they
SM
do.
Appliance.
Yes. So when we offer kasi our clients, what makes us a difference also is like we offer them to transition to EV at the same cost of ICE. Yes, kung magkano binabayad niyo sa diesel, ito rin kami. Walang pagkakaiba. I know other logistic company will say that you're losing money because EV is very expensive, right? And remember, EV life, the battery life of an EV is guaranteed lang for 8 years.
8 years.
8 years lang. Yan yung mga guarantee ng mga manufacturer, right? So unlike ang diesel natin, pwede hanggang 15 taon. Tumatakbo pa yan, di ba? Pero tayo 8, wala ka na magagawa. Or kung maganda yung pagka-maintain mo ng baterya, pwede maging 10 years, no? 10
years. Pero papalitan mo na rin yung battery.
That's a problem. So, alam mo na ang buhay ng EV mo hanggang 10 years. Calculated na ang kwan mo eh. Ang kita mo, di ba? But as a Mober, yeah, why put a premium on sustainability, di ba? So, kung magkano bayad nyo sa diesel, yun na namin.
I guess that's one challenge kasi yung pricing nyo the same, pero yung return medyo mas maliit siguro because of the price of the EV.
Aside from that, no, the challenge is like aside from BDO, recently, we partner with BDO. Aside from BDO, which I think they're very innovative, they're also committed to green. And since they're the biggest bank in the Philippines, they know where to invest, no? So, but besides sa kanila and before last month, walang bangko nagpapautang sa EV trucks. Wala, sir. Even DBP, even Land Bank. Even we have the Evida loan na, di ba? Hirap pa rin. So, they're treating us as a startup and we have to submit a lot of documentation. Right? So, but again, for us, we passed that hurdle because of BDO finance us with 70 units now. So, that's just the beginning. No? So, that's one challenge, sir. The second challenge is like, there's no infra for charging,
Oh.
right? Meron tayo nakitang mga charging stations sa loob ng malls, right? But that for consumer like us, kung bumili tayo ng sasakyan natin, we can charge, right? But for us, logistic company, none. So that's why one of the challenges din sa amin, so we built our own charging hub.
Wow.
So we have a 3,000 square meter charging hub somewhere in Macapagal Avenue. Now it will be exclusively used for our 100 plus trucks. No?
Trucks,
So we have I think we have 60 units of 7 kilowatt na DC, and we have 4 na 120 kilowatt na fast chargers.
And that facility is probably the biggest in the Philippines, or
Well, I would say yes, sir. That's the biggest now. We're hub talaga for in fact, we're researching if it's the biggest in Southeast Asia. I think it's the biggest in Southeast Asia. Kasi wala pa naman nag-build talaga ng logistic company na pang EV. Oo.
So you mentioned na mahigit 100 ang trucks nyo. So how many employees do you have right now?
Hinati natin, no? So we have around mga 350 for our drivers and for helpers. No? And by the way, we don't call them drivers sa Mover. Ang tawag namin sa GDS, Green Delivery Specialist.
Wow, Green Delivery Specialist.
Yeah, so we call them then. For IKEA team, we also have assembler because we assemble their furniture. Pag nag-order ka magpa-assemble, we assemble it for you, no?
So kasama
that's
sa services.
Then for the like of FMCGs and Nestle, we do 1:1. So meaning one driver or GDS, one helper. Right. So total plus admin, tech, and mga 380 na kami.
380. So parang medium scale na classification ng mobile.
Yes, sir. If you notice, sir, most of our logistic companies in the Philippines, right? They don't hire drivers sa regular. Sa atin, they're all regular.
Wow.
We don't subcontract because the reason why we do this because we want to maintain the service level. Kasi if you do contractual, yung service level, sir, wala eh. Pag umalis siya, papalitan mo, papasok ng bago, di ba? So walang continuity and it's more expensive on our part na hahanap ka na naman ng bagong driver, mag-interview ka na naman, tuturuan mo ng kultura natin, that's more expensive eh.
Oo nga. So yung training.
Yes.
Pero palagi ko parang minsan nasabi mo nga kanina na you maintain a unit sa office mo.
Kultura na namin yun. Lalo na ako, when we started Mover, because we started Mover sa platform, right? Kita namin sa office namin kung may nagbubuk, walang tumatanggap ng mga driver. Customer din yan, di ba? Minsan ako kumukuha. Ako nagda-drive. Like this July na nag-transition yung isang client natin, kinulang kami ng driver kasi nga lumaki yung volume at hindi na project, no? We drive. We drive. I mean, we're one of the boys, right?
Masarap pa talagang i-drive ang EV compared to traditional vehicles.
Yes, sir. I would say masarap. Una, automatic. Ang hindi nga cambio, rotator lang siya.
Rotator.
Drive, reverse, neutral, park. Parang gano'n lang siya, di ba? Walang vibration. Walang init sa upuan. Remember ang mga truck, di ba? Ang makina nasa upuan natin. Ito wala. As in hindi ka ma-feel na may vibration. Tapos hindi ka pagod kasi walang clutch.
Walang clutch.
Okay. And this is also the reason why Mover this year we will be focusing hiring more lady driver.
Wow.
We'll give that
Ibig
opportunity.
sabihin magaan talaga.
Magaan, sir. Kahit truck din drive mo, parang ka drive ng kotse. Kailangan mo lang matansya yung haba. Pero kung yung kabig, yung gano'n, walang kahirap-hirap. So again, we're opening this opportunity to mga women na gusto matuto mag-drive kasi dati hindi sila makapag-drive kasi nga mahirap. So ito hindi na to mahirap.
You mentioned 2021 kayo nag-transition to full EV, no? So how were you able to scale up in such a short period?
Okay, without our investor, right? I mean, last year we're able to raise $6 million. A year before that, we're able to raise $2 million. We're able to raise from Filipino angel investor, si RTHS Holdings. And last year, we raised $6 million from Southeast Asia Clean Energy Fund.
Ayun.
It's called CCEF2. They only invest in impact fund. They only invest in clean energy.
Clean energy.
With their money, with the support of BDO, so we're able to grow our fleet. We're able to grow our operation.
What are your plans and vision, maybe for the next 5 years or even 10 years?
So probably let's talk about 5 years. I think 10 years is too long. So 5 years, no? So we're trying our best if we can reach 500 units
500
by end of
units.
this year, right? 2, we're eyeing the Southeast Asia market. Mober will go live in Thailand.
Thailand, yeah.
So we have our charging station na rin doon, na set up na rin namin. Meron na tayong mga local hire na doon.
So, Mober is not only Philippine-focused company, no? So, Southeast Asia.
Yeah, we're going to Thailand. So we're buying 30 EVs doon
30.
muna to start. Yeah. May kliyente na tayo.
Wow.
The client there is IKEA Thailand.
May connection din, no?
It's all because sir, we were able to prove to them that our commitment to green, to sustainability, and of course to committing to the highest service level give us an opportunity na itap kami ng Thailand nila.
I guess the IKEA Philippines was satisfied with your performance, kaya gano'n.
Well, I think oo naman, sir. Kasi they keep on giving us business naman. And kami sa Mober, sir, we will stick to this culture na wala kaming bureaucracy sa loob. Kung anong kailangan ng kliyente, kung kailangan desisyonan ngayon, kailangan namin desisyonan ngayon. Parang yun lang ang prinsipyo namin.
Is it the future of the logistics industry, EV?
Okay, sir, probably if we are in China, EV is present, not the future.
Okay.
Diba, dami na normal na sa kanila, di ba?
Normal.
Parang lumilipat na lang dito sa atin, right? So, I would say yes, sir. Probably let's say future, probably in the next 5 years, everybody should adapt to EV na.
Ikaw medyo nauna ka kasi dapat ang private vehicles muna, pero sinimulan mo sa logistics kaagad, no?
Madalas na invite naman tayo ng mga Evida, di ba? Mga kaibigan naman natin doon, or sa DOTR, no? Parati kong sinasabi sa kanila na yung consumer EV will take some time. Kasi that's 1:1, like, wow. So sa logistic, everyday may delivery, di ba? Everyday umiikot yung mga sakyan. Ang average namin may kilometer per day, no? Ang biyahe namin mga 130 kilometers, right? So yan yung talagang grabing gumamit ng greenhouse, right? Sabi ko nga kanina, 90+% of supply chain, yun ang pollution. Yeah. So for us on tayo, pag ginamit natin yung sasakyan pa office, park. So yun lang ang unlike sa logistic, marami talagang mababawas na pollution.
You mentioned mo 130 kilometers per vehicle. So one charge lang yun per day, no?
Yes.
Kaya.
Because our EV naman is capable of up to 200 kilometers. But depends, sir. I just want to share to our audience, no, na there's no such thing as fixed, no. Depends on the battery. Like kami sa Mober, when we buy our EV, we dictate or we tell our OEM, our supplier na, okay, I want a 53 kilowatt, I want a 68 kilowatt, I want a 100 kilowatt. No? So kaya yung EV namin, sir, iba-iba ang laki ng baterya.
Ano ba pinakamalaki?
May 100, may 282. Kasi meron kaming tractor head.
Tractor
yung
head.
Talagang tagahila ng container. We have one na EV, 282 kilowatts, sir.
Kilowatts. Horsepower, ano ba yung?
Horsepower, sir, malaki. Kaya niyang maghatak ng net payload na 21 tons, eh.
21 tons. Wow, malaki.
Malaki, sir.
Malakas din ang torque. Ano?
Okay. Mabuti na banggit mo, sir, ang torque. Ang EV, sir, matindi talaga sa torque. Kasi pag dumikit yung ground, diretso ka talaga, di ba?
Instant, no?
Gaganon ka talaga.
Instant.
But with the technology, yung torque, sir, nako-control.
Yeah.
Oo, kailangan mo kontrolin yung torque. Kasi, lalo na sa truck, hindi pwedeng pagdikit. Yung mga una namin na EV, hindi pa marunong. Pag apak mo ng silinyador, gaganon ka talaga. So, accident prone yun. So, ngayon, we talk to our OEM, said, can you adjust? Na-adjust.
I guess there are many other companies that have yet to look at EV as a means of logistics or transportation. So how do you promote EVs among them?
When we go and tell them about EV, para naman sinasabi, walang cost sa inyo to transition to EV. Kung magkano binabayad niyo, kukunin namin yun, di ba? I'll give you that, right? So, at the same time, nakatulong pa tayo sa Mother Earth. So
anong advantage sa kanila? Kapag,
sa ngayon, sir, an advantage sa kanila is there's no extra cost for them to transition from a diesel delivery to EV. No? Same cost lang. Pangalawa is they have this mandate. As a company, you have your own mandate, di ba? Obligasyon natin din naman sa environment na mag-EV na tayo, di ba? Kasi kung walang extra cost, sir, ibang usapan kung may premium, no? Kasi you have to look at your bottom line, right? Kung ako yung negosyante, kung looking at bottom line, mas mahal, why should I convert? So ngayon na wala, then there's no reason for them not to convert.
Kasi yung mga European companies, I guess, are required to magkaroon ng schedule ng kanilang carbon reduction, di ba? Siguro sa Pilipinas meron ding
yes, sir. Like Simon Denisin, they're targeting na net zero sila.
Net zero din.
Kasi yung bubong ng factory nila, solar na.
Solar.
So, yung gamit nila, lahat clean, renewable na, no? In fact, we have chargers sa loob nila. We're using their electricity, so zero emission kami. Sa Nestle naman, sir, they have this solar panel. Ang kuryente nila renewable. So they let us use their kuryente. So they will claim, I told them, you can now claim that yung delivery ni Nestle through Mober na EV, right, is a zero emission. Kasi may mga delivery pa rin naman tayo, sir, na EV siya, no? Pero kinuha natin sa grid. Kinuha natin sa kuryente,
You're
diba?
not sure kung saan galing.
Well, let's assume na lang, sir, galing sa coal, right?
Sa coal,
so there's a 0.6 kilograms of carbon pa rin. So hindi pwede natin masabi na zero, no? But if you use diesel, a diesel is 2.6 kilogram na carbon. And if you use our grid, 0.68 na lang. 0.68. So may difference din naman, di ba? But of course, we're hoping na kami din sa Mober, sir, itong dilipatan natin na bagong yard, di ba? The current bubong nun, I think the property has 39,000 square meters na bubong na pwede mong lagyan ng solar panel.
That's part of your plan, magkaroon ng
kami, sir,
solar panel.
kami plano namin kasi we only have 3,000 square meters. Then yung bubong namin, di ba? So we're trying to talk to the landlord if they should allow us to put 3,000 square meters of solar panels sa bubong namin.
Sa bubong.
Kasi once na makuha namin nun, I believe we can harvest mga 460 kilowatt a day.
Malaki rin.
So that's more than enough. That's probably 75% na kailangan namin para i-charge yung buong sasakyan namin.
So 1 megawatt lang pala, malakas na, no?
1 megawatt, sir, kasya yan sa 300 units na EV.
300 units. Ngayon, meron ng mga solar farm na 200 megawatts, di ba?
Yes. But yun, if hindi kami mapayagan, what we do is like, we just buy from the RESS, yung rest, di ba? And say, okay, I want to buy renewable energy. Pwede naman. Pero di ko lang, I have to ask for certification kasi malay mo kung saan galing. Binentang ka lang, renewable to. But we have to ask for certification.
Meron namang ganong arrangement.
May ganon naman, sir.
You're also looking at mag-installing ng mga solar panels. So what other investments are you looking at?
So this for Mober, sir, no? We're investing more sa EV. If we can do 500 units by year end or more, we'll do. So by end of 5 years, we're looking yung owned namin, yung nag-operate sa amin, hopefully we can reach mga 2,000, 2,500, no? But again, we're investing so much in increasing our fleet, number one. Number two, sir, we also invested so much money in BMS. We call it the Battery Management System.
Ano ba yan? Yung BM?
We call it BMS, Battery Management System. It's an IoT, kinakabit namin sa OBD2 ng lahat ng EV. It has a SIM card. So, kita namin remotely, kita namin yung anong nangyayari sa battery. Nag-fluctuate ba? Nag-overheat ba? Kita namin. Then, we gather all the data. Then, we analyze it. Is this battery okay? Ano ba yung health ng battery? Ba't nag-fluctuate? Tapos, when we do this one, we ask the driver, anong ginawa natin nung oras na yon? So, para ma-prolong natin yung life ng battery. So, that's why when you mentioned about the challenges kanina, the challenges now is when we buy our EV direct, kami, swerte kasi may volume tayo, sir. No? When we say volume, we can demand from the supplier na you have to send your engineer here. You have to send all your spare parts here, right? So, alam nila. But for the small truckers, to transition to EV, the day one pa lang yung hurdle nila, di ba? So, for our audience, so I'm not here to scare you. I'm just telling you kung anong mga hurdle, pero may solution naman tayo. Okay. So, the hurdle is like, if you have 5-10 units, saan ka magsa-charge? Magsa-set up ng charging station mo for 10 units, right? It's not worth it. One. Two, when you buy something, it does not come with the BMS. So, di mo alam. Basta, parang wear and tear ka lang. Plug and play ka lang, di ba? But remember, battery is the most expensive part of an EV. Diba? So, yun dapat ang tutukan, right? So, next is, wala pang bangko magpapautang sa'yo. So, yan yung mga challenges, no? But, ang good news naman, kung gusto na nila mag-transition pa EV, diba, Mobile can help them. What we can do is, we already set up our charging station. We have the technology for the battery management system, right? All you need to do is, we just rent you out our EV, then, hanap kayo ng kliyente. Pero kung wala pa kayong kliyente, for example, may mga kliyente kami na kukulangin kami ng ng EV, pwede namin pa-subcon sa inyo. So, hindi ko, sir, tinatakot yung industriya. Sinasabi ko lang na ito yung mga madadaanan nyo. Ayaw ko ng pagdaanan nyo, yung napagdaanan namin. No? So, may solusyon din naman tayo.
Pero right now, you're the only electrified logistics company.
I would not say na I'm the only one, sir.
Meron din.
Meron, sir. May mga isa-isa, dalawa-dalawa.
Dalawang unit.
Patatong units, mga ganun. Just masabi lang nila na meron na silang EV.
So what's next for Mober? You mentioned Thailand or Southeast Asia.
My focus is still in the Philippines. I want Mober to grow. Instead of competing with other companies, right? We want to collaborate. MERS is our client. Kuehne+Nagel is our client. Yeah. These big companies, they don't buy asset. They subcon. So we're the subcon now to them, for them to have electric trucks. So hindi kami nagko-compete. We subcon. So for the small truckers, they are our direct competitor because they also serve Nestle, they also serve yung mga MNC. They also serve. Instead of competing with them, so we help them transition to EV. Then we rent out our EV. We use our infrastructure, the charger, diba? We use it all together. Then we serve a common customer. So hindi na kailangan mag-compete.
Kasi may plan din ng government, I think, about encouraging people to switch to EVs. Kahit yung private vehicle owners, siguro maybe 10 years from now or 20 years from now.
Well, I think for us as a private citizen, no, if we wanna transition to EV, I think easy, sir. Kasi yung gamit naman ng kotse natin, baka sa isang araw, 50 kilometro lang. Uwi, bahay, uwi, di ba? So pagdating mo sa bahay, baka mag-charge ka yan mga once every week. Diba? Or kung kukonti pa, baka twice every week lang, no?
Tsaka nagde-develop yung technology.
Yes. But if we are the early buyer, right? We are early buyer. We are stuck with that model. Kung may bagong technology pumasok, ano gagawin natin? Anong gagawin natin sa EV? Ibebenta natin. Ang question there, is there a second hand EV taker? Yun ang tanong, sir.
Oo nga. Sa US siguro meron na, pero dito parang
okay, share lang with the audience, no. There's so many second hand EV in China.
Okay.
Oo, sir, pag pupunta ako doon, pag nakita, ang dami talaga, and it's so tempting for me to buy those second hand EV and bring it here. Tapos gawin na lang natin, padamihin ko yung fleet natin, di ba? But it's still also scary, sir. Walang warranty ang battery.
Walang warranty.
Di ba, sir? No? Magiging dump site tayo ng second. Tapos, question dun, sir, is like, what to do with the battery after its life?
Oo.
Right? So, those are the question, no? Anong gagawin sa baterya after matapos na yung buhay ng baterya sa'yo? Tama? So, those are the things, sir, that probably now naisip natin, we're green because we're not using diesel, di ba? But ang question that at the end of the life of that battery, how do we dispose the battery?
Malaki yun, hindi lang parang battery ng cellphone.
Diba? So ngayon, question natin, paano natin? So baka tayo ang isa sa mga pinakamalaking contributor naman ng pollution kung hindi ma-dispose, no? So yun. So as early as now, may plano na kami.
Meron na.
Kasi yung mga ganung batteries, sir, pwedeng hindi na siya may pakinabang sa EV, no? Pero may pakinabang siya sa as storage. Kung may maliit kang sa solar panel, yun yung gamitin mong storage. Parang bank, di ba? Yung parang solar bank. Pwede yun. Or pwede mo gamitin as to power a refrigerator, yung mga ganon. Because it will end sa atin, but a second life is 100% na pwede lang gamitin, ba? Pwede pa yun. Hindi pa yun, sir, patapon.
So, one of the challenges siguro sa electric, totoo bang affected yung EVs kapag may baha sa Metro Manila?
Well, hindi totoo. If you remember last year, July, yung bahang-baha tayo, di ba? Yung flood na parang ondoy before, but this is not. Ito yung recent na bahang-baha. Yung parking namin, yung garahe namin na luma, sa labasan, bahang-baha talaga. Pag tinignan mo yung baha, abot talaga sa taas ng baterya namin. Kasi ang battery namin nasa dalawang gilid ng sasakyan eh. When the OEM, the supplier told me, Dennis, we already tested it, the flood, and all the battery parts there and everything, the cable is IP67. No? When you say IP67, yan yung isa sa pinaka highest standard ng waterproofing. Okay. We tested sa China bago is dito. Sabi ko, tinest nyo yun, hindi ko naman nakita eh. Baka dinaan nyo lang sa lubak, waterproof na. So, I told them, okay, we have a situation now here. I sent them video. See, this is the flood, right? I want to test your EV. But, one condition, pag yan tumirik or nasira, di ba, under warranty, you change everything. Because you warranty me na pwede, di ba? Everybody agreed.
Wow.
In a live call. Nilusong namin, sir, sa baha. Nawala yung baterya. Kasi sa sobrang lalim, umababaw yung tubig. Dire-diretso, hindi tumigil. Tuloy.
Wow.
Nothing. It's okay. Right? So that's why, again, it's a myth na pag nabaha, di ba? It's a myth, sir.
Tsaka makukuryente yung driver.
It's not true because it's IP67. So, waterproof, no? Ang kailangan ng advice ko talaga sa mga EV owner, make sure, no, regardless, if you are buying an EV for your own use, if you're buying EV for logistic use or hanap buhay, always ask kung meron yung battery management system.
Battery management.
The BMS. Kasi, para kita mo kung anong nangyayari sa baterya, ba't nag-overheat to? Hindi dapat nag-overheat siya, dapat dire-diretso lang yan. So kung nag-overheat ng konti, something wrong, no? I'm more afraid sa baha, not sa baha, but sa battery fire.
Battery fire, oo nga.
Yung baha, hinto. Yung sunog sa battery, ibang usapan. So kaya again, may battery management tayo. Kasi once na masunog ang baterya, sir,
oo.
Diba? Mahirap na.
Mober is considered one of the more successful startups in the Philippines, right? So, for those who are trying to establish their own startup, so what advice can you give them?
It's passion eh.
Mm.
Passion.
Mm.
And don't be afraid to fail.
Mm.
Diba? Pag nag-fail, tayo agad, diba? Gawa ulit, diba? The scenario now sa startup now, iba na.
Iba na.
It's not like before, yung mga pre-Uber, pre-Grab, diba? Kasi dati, investor, they just throw you the money, burn it, and palakin mo lang yung market size mo, then saka na natin pag-usapan kung paano natin i-monetize, right? So, but you have the base, right? But after the pandemic or during the pandemic, nagbago yung trend eh.
Nagbago.
Most of the investor now, they look at your bottom line also.
Umpisa pa lang bottom line.
Oo. So, as a startup now, I think the startup now, hindi lang tech na sir ang tinitingnan. At additional negosyo, kung gusto mo magbukas ng coffee shop, di ba? Maraming coffee shop ngayon na yung maliliit, di ba? They consider startup, pero hindi sila tech lang. No? So, it doesn't mean to be a tech. Kung may idea ka, sa tingin mo, kami kasi parati kong iniisip, hanapan natin ano ang problema. Gaano ho ba kalaki itong problema? So, pag sinolve ba natin yung problema, pwede ba natin gawin income? So, yun parati kong iniisip when we start. So kami I've always tell my peer and my investors, so I'm not a young founder anymore. I'm 54 next month. So, for the young founders, sabi ko, there's no such thing as smooth, no? Unang venture mo, successful ka. There's no such thing like that. I mean, learn from your failure and stand again and ulit, di ba? Yung ganun lang. Don't be afraid also to pivot. And also, try to be very disciplined. Kasi ideas, ang daming ideas eh. Ang daming papasok. Di ba? Ang dami, sir, na ideas sama. Kung hindi ka disciplined, dito gagawin ko to. Ay, pag hindi okay, dito gagawin ko, di ba? Try to stick to one and focus there. Then, kung talagang hindi pwede, mag-pivot ka sa dulo, di ba? Yun lang. I'm sharing kung anong ginawa. During my younger time, ang gusto kong gawin, sabay-sabay ko gagawin. Ito. Sabay-sabay natin gawin, di ba? Kasi pag may nag-fail, at least meron mo tayong isa, di ba? Pero hindi pala dapat ganun eh. So, ngayon na nandito kami sa Mober, marami pa akong ideas na gustong gawin, pero I realize I want to focus because I'm here na eh. I'm here and I saw there's a big opportunity. Why not just focus there and grow it huge and be proud as a Filipino startup, right?
Among young entrepreneurs, how important is the culture of service to the business?
Well, kung babalik tayo sa age ko, no? Customer is always right, tama? Hanggang ngayon, yun pa rin naman eh. Yun pa rin kami, sir. Customer is always right. When I mentioned the culture, the culture of making sure that our service level is to the highest, no? Walang tatalo dun eh. Kahit anong negosyo nyo, basta if you treat your customer with the best service, diba, sir? Hindi ka matatakot na mawawala yung customer. That's why in Mober, we set up that culture that, we always respect our customer. Kasi negosyo din naman yun eh. Negosyo natin, negosyo nila. So, hindi tayo pwede magpabaya. It's very expensive to get customer in. I mean, I observed, no? Most of the entrepreneur now, yung mga bata, yung mga nagso-social media, di ba? They keep boosting social media ads to get customer. Pero nakakalimutan nila, sir, pag nakuha ko na yung customer, sa sobrang focus ko magkuha ng maraming customer, nakalimutan na, paano ko alagaan to? Diba? Pagpasok, sir, wag mo nang pakawalan. I mean, that's a very good principle, sir. Kasi, it's very expensive to get somebody. It's very expensive also to get somebody to test and try your product and services. Once na nakuha mo, make sure na yan na. Diba? So, for young entrepreneur, I think hindi ito sa age, hindi ito sa kultura, no? It's like, pag pumasok na kliyente mo, wag mo nang pabayaan na mawala. Asikasuhin mo, make sure that that your service is to the highest level. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Dennis Nang, founder and CEO of Mover, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Sir Rod. Thank you.